You are listening now to the Spirituality Now podcast, the show that is solely focused on practical spirituality, leadership, and mindset skills with the aim and purpose of supporting you master your life. Welcome to the Spirituality Now podcast. Welcome to the Spirituality Now podcast. I am your host and the guest today. When we interview such great people every week, and sometimes life happens, right? Like actually all of the times, and they have to reschedule, and they're traveling or something unfolded, and we adapt. And today is one of those days. Our beautiful guest that was going to come in today, she got a trip to Europe, so we'll have her back when she returns. But today I got the opportunity to be solo and share with you a little experience that I had, actually, that we had. And who's this we? It's the team of a nonprofit organization that I founded many years, many months ago called Mastery Life, that is in Cancun, Mexico. And the nonprofit organization focuses on supporting teachers deliver their wisdom, deliver their teachings as we take care of them. When I opened my first nonprofit organization, I was asked by people, are you supporting the poor? Are you supporting those who are hungry? Are you supporting those who don't have? And I'm like, yes, but not in the sense of giving money, giving food per se, physically. We are supporting the poor of knowledge. We're supporting the hunger, the ones that are hungry for more spiritual leadership, education. We're supporting for us who don't have these resources for them to grow deeper and stronger in their parenting, in their spirituality, in their finances, in their leadership. So I founded Mastery Life, brought in a team. We have an incredible team. And so that's why I say we, because the main core people of the Mastery Life nonprofit organization, we were invited to India. And we were invited to India. We're going to talk about meeting with the Immortals today. We were invited to India by the Department of Education of the President of India back in the days. This is 90. Oh my gosh, I don't even remember. This is 2002, I believe. And we were invited. We thought we were going to go teach all of the education tools that we were delivering in Mastery Live. We were delivering tools of conscious parenting, conscious language. At that time, I was the general director of Latin America of something called the Parent Talk. The Parent Talk that was created by Chick Mormon, which is words that empower, words that wound. My kids were little, so I was in full mode, mom, getting educated to be a better parent. Actually, one of the, our main team member, actually, she's like 10 people in one. Sophia, that is behind the scenes always of the Spirituality Now podcast, she was receiving all those education tools. She was a baby. She was 5 while we were doing all of these shenanigans. Anyways, we got invited to India to teach this parent talk system. And when we arrived, there was a whole trip planned. I coordinated it with Mr. Joseph, an incredible tourist guide, and just incredible human. And when we arrived to India, we were received at the Amachi organization. Ama is an incredible, well-known worldwide guru, spiritual teacher. She hugs people for a living. That's all I'm going to say. She's called the Hugging Mother. And we arrived to her ashram in Cochin, India. We arrived first to Madras. We went to the Ramakrishna temples. We did all of the spiritual things that you could think of. And then we were, my spiritual ego was super ready to go teach and speak in India. When we arrived to Cochin, India, in that ashram, Ama was walking there. They opened the door for us. There were like 3,000 something people in the ashram that day just because Ama hugs, right? And Ama has this potent Vishnu, one of the gods in India, of the three, of the trinity of Brahma, Vishnu, Shiva, the trinity of Hinduism. And they say that she has much of that energy, the same as Kali, another goddess of the Hindu tradition. Anyways, devotees go to be in her presence, to be in her transmission. When we arrived and we met her, exactly when we were in and met her, our lives completely changed. There was a detour of everything that our ego wanted to do. Long story short, we never taught, we were taught. So we lived in Cochin with Amma in her ashram. We attended the World Peace Olympics. We were in charge, my team and I, we were in charge to bring the flag of Mexico, literally like the Olympics of sports. We were in the Olympics of spirituality. I mean, how cool is that? I was in charge to bring the water of Mexico. A friend of mine carried the flag of Mexico, the whole stadium. We did a whole stadium walk like the Olympics do. And a friend of ours, Rebecca, was in charge to bring the candle. So we did all of that. And after that, it was one after the other spiritual, mystical experiences. And this podcast, I'm not going to go into the whole detail of that. I wrote a book called, and we will put the link on the copy and the comments. If you're watching on YouTube, we may show you the image here. I don't know the editor, what he will do, but in the comments, we will put the links. Okay. So this is not a podcast for that. Every detail of the India mystical trip that we have is written in a book called India, The Journey of a Lifetime. There's too much of spiritual mysticism. There's too much magic. There's too much. How the heck did that happen moments that I cannot convey it in the podcast. This is for the meeting of the immortals. The reason why I'm giving a preface on how it started is because the whole trip was a preparation for the last 3 days in India. And the last days in India, after all of these incredible, juicy spiritual moments that defy understanding, that defy the mind, there's no way that the mind defy the mind. There's no way I can prove it science based. The only way we can prove it science based with facts is that it was not a solo trip. It was five of us experiencing miraculous things that you can read in books. You can wonder if they are truth. You can think they're metaphors, but we lived every single detail of miracles. We lived it in India. And so at the end of the journey, after visiting the house where Krishna was born, after investing time with every single possible guru alive back then, Sai Baba, Amachi, so many incredible, going through the land of where Osho was, and all of that. So I lost my visa. And so I thought, so I lost my visa 3 days before leaving. I'm like, I cannot get out of India. I need my visa to get out. And so one of my friends and I, he ventures with me. We're in New Delhi back then. We stayed at beautiful hotels and sometimes beautiful ashrams. It was just an incredible trip. And he goes with me to the embassy and hours. If you've been in Mexico, the same as in India, in an embassy or a governmental office, it is like the DMV in the United States if you don't have an appointment. I'm just going to say that. I'm not criticizing. That's the way the culture is here. I do not know why it's such a market. I don't know why it's such like a festival of total random chaos. And so we were there and hours and hours until when I arrived to the counter, the lady says, what are you here for? I'm like, I lost my India visa. She's like, well, you're already in India. You don't need a visa to return to your home. I'm like, I don't know. There was kind of a spell in my brain, and I know why, that it didn't get it. It didn't get it. So, or my ADD, attention diversified in divinity. That's how I call ADD. So we went back to the hotel in a taxi. Traffic in India is an opportunity for you to practice patience, meditate, and probably be enlightened of the hours that you are in the cab. And the cab driver kept looking at me eye to eye, like in the little mirror. And I was feeling this vibe, like what with this intensity. And he stops the car in a obviously a light, but in India, there's no green light, red light. There's save your life, run after yourself, drive when you can, avoid collision. I mean, at least in my memory of those moments. I don't know if they already corrected the traffic in India, but it was quite an extraordinary feat of having full trust in God that you're not going to die. That's the truth for us. And so in one of those stops, he looks at me and turns around and says, "You need to go meet my master. He wants you there." And I had this feeling. I've been a yogi practitioner. I've been, the book Autobiography of a Yogi absolutely changed my life. I was initiated as a Swami after reading it. I met incredible teachers, gurus, mystics, Swamis. I got initiated as a Swami, unexpected, at the Ritz Carlton in Cancun. I mean, it doesn't make sense, anything, but why does it? I almost shaved my hair, just cut it very short. My ego didn't allow me to full go in full shape, but that was then. So I'm aware of these energetics. I'm aware of this energy. And I had a very deep secret longing to meet a guru, a teacher that is mentioned in the chapter 33 of Autobiography of a Yogi's book, Yogananda. His name is Babaji. Apparently, an immortal, an avatar that has existed on this earth more than 3,000 plus years, and that he materializes his body at will for those who he wishes to convey a lesson, a message, a teaching, an assignment. So Yogananda met him, his guru Sri Yukteswar met him, the guru of Sri Yukteswar, Lahir Mahasaya, met him, and on and on and on. Very few people that have actually journal or tell the story of that. I'm imagining that far much more people have met him. Anyway, so I have this longing, this quiet desire, and the cab driver looks at me in the eyes, turns around, says, "You gotta meet my master." I'm like, "Where is he?" He's like, "Very close by." I mean, we're in New Delhi, okay? I'm like, where is close by? Rishikesh, India. I'm like, "How far is it?" 3 hours. So if you ever have been in India, 3 hours, when someone tells you it's going to take 3 hours, prepare your lunch bags, prepare water, prepare for stops. It's going to be probably an 8 to 12 hour journey. That's how it is. So, but I'm a believer that it's 3 hours. I want to believe that. And he's like, "You got to go to Rishikesh." I'm like, "Where is Rishikesh?" "Well, it's where I want you to go. It's close to the Himalayas, and you will be able to see the Ganges River and go inside." We've been already watching the Ganges. We went to the Taj Mahal, all of that shenanigans. And I say, "How old is your teacher?" And he gave me a grin. I will never forget his face. He's like, "I'm glad you asked. He's more than 3,000 years old." I'm like, "How will we find him?" "He will guide you when you are there. You just have to drive up there." I'm like, "What is the address?" "He will tell you where to go." I'm like, "How are we going to know?" And he's like, "You just got to trust him." And I said, "Are we able to meet him?" Like, "When you arrive, if he chooses, he will materialize for you." So I was sold. I arrived to the hotel. All the team is preparing to travel back, packing, doing the little like the end of like, let's purchase the little things for the kids, let's bring them a sari, let's bring them a token of appreciation, because they've been almost a month waiting for us, and we are here, the parents, the solo moms in India, leaving the caretakers and the fathers and the aunts and the uncles taking care of our children, which was one of the hardest things. We almost came back on the day, I believe it was day 5. Both Rebecca, myself, and another member of our team. We were crying for our kids. We couldn't, we almost returned, but we didn't. So, anyways, I convinced the team we're going. I get a driver, and they're like, "We're about to leave." I'm like, "Oh, we'll have time. It's 3 hours." No, it was 12 hours. New Delhi to Rishikesh. We were going to the Himalayas, and we didn't know where we were going. And the driver was going nuts because it was the last day of a festival in India called Diwali, the celebration of light. I mean, how auspicious that is, and how perfectly designed by God these moments. And so we went to Rishikesh, and the driver says, I'm not going to take you up. We're not going to go up the mountains. It's getting colder. We got to go to the touristic place and get out of here. He's very mad because we don't have a direction to go. And if you are in leadership and you are anyone focused on goal setting, if you don't have direction, you get lost. Not all of the time. In this case, the only purpose was I know I'm going to meet an avatar, an immortal, and he's going to guide us. How? I don't know. I just felt in my body, keep driving, go left, go right. I swear to you. And so I'm so glad that it was five of us because we have witnesses of all of this madness. And I keep telling him, drive, drive, drive. And we go up to the hills. When you can see the Himalayas, and there is a site that is in construction that has just a little triangle painted outside, full construction mode. I don't even have the car being stopped. We're going slow anyways because of traffic and cows and going up in the hill. And I get out of the car and immediately I know it's that place. Under construction, it looks like demolished, but it's under construction place. And I just feel that the triangle is the symbol of Kriya, of the Kriya yogis. And I know it's there. I just know. I don't know how. I just know. And a Swami, his name was Swami Muktananda, begins to come out in his orange robes, meets me, and he's like, so you are the reason why my rickshaw, his little car, hasn't worked for hours. I've been trying to go to get some groceries. It hasn't worked. It just turned on the moment you arrive. So come on in. All of us go in. There's pictures in the book of our first meeting, of me talking to him, of me inquiring about the gurus, the teachers. And he says, the guru is in New Delhi today. I'm like, no, his name is Sri Shankarananda Giri. And you can Google them. And we arrived to the Kriya Yoga Institute. It was under construction. So right now it's beautiful. If you ever go there, it's beautiful. They have a planetary. They have such amazing things that were based on the Kriya Yoga teachings of Babaji, of Sri Yukteswar, of Yogananda. Beautiful, beautiful place. But we arrived when it was under construction. And he said, I want to meet Babaji. And he's like, well, Babaji needs to want to meet you. But I know he can materialize himself at will. And then when I said that, he said, okay, follow me. And he opens a little door. We all docked in, and it's the meditation room of Sri Sankarananda Giri. And if you go to my book, and hopefully we can insert the picture here on YouTube, okay, we are all in this hall where there's gigantic, from floor to wall, pictures of Sri Yukteswar, Yogananda, the Christ, Krishna, and Babaji. And we enter in a deep meditation instantaneously. It was instant trance. It was like a collective. We didn't have to warm up. We didn't have to do breath work. We just sat down, and it was instantaneous, like samadhi. It was instantaneous. It was my first experience of entrancement, samadhi, no need to focus on anything, just full alertness, full attention. And suddenly, in that room, I hear footsteps approaching me, very strong. And I feel a hand touching my shoulder. And I feel that this person goes in front of me and bows down and whispers in my ear around 3 times, Babaji, Babaji, Babaji. I have not felt that again in my life. It was once. What I felt was these like shivers, like a river running through my veins, through my blood. I opened my eyes a little bit, like this yogi meditation thing or Zen meditation that you have your half eyes open and the rest are closed. And I open and I see these incredible, beautiful feet, beautiful brown feet materializing in front of me. And I closed my eyes. I got in panic and I said, Babaji, in my mind, I'm sorry, I cannot open my eyes right now because if I do and I see you, I'm going to stay here and I'm still a mom. I got to go back. I have responsibilities, blah, 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 etc., etc. And he bows down, or that's how it felt. And in my other ear, he whispers, that's okay. The time will come. In that moment, I take a deep breath, like if I was not breathing, like if I was coming out of water, open my eyes, and I realize some of our team are crying. Some of our people are like like with their eyes open. Evidently, everybody went through an experience, and I will let everyone, maybe one day I'll invite them all to share their experience. Someone saw Yogananda, someone saw Sri Yukteswar, someone experienced the sounds of the feet of Babaji, heard the whisper, and I saw the feet of Babaji. And we opened our eyes, I was sitting in front, practical of the wall. There's no way that someone could have been standing there. When I look at the floor, there was carpet, and the sound I heard of the footsteps was like floor. And then we all felt incredible breeze and wind in the room. There were no windows. So we encountered this avatar. Uh, After the years came, I wrote a couple of books that were dictated by the energy of Babaji, Sacred Messages for the Parent of the World, Invitation to Love. And I speak about that in the India, the Journey of a Lifetime book. And all of these names of these books were given during the trip of India, but I never got that it was Babaji. And we encountered him in a couple of occasions at the Taj Mahal, at Madras, in a river where we were in full silence, and we saw a Swami appearing and disappearing in a floating island. But very, very incredible. But this was a meeting with an immortal. And the reason I'm sharing this in the podcast is because you gotta open your mind and open your eyes and open your heart and open your sensations and your feelings for the numinous, for the transcendental, for that which we as humans will never be able to put in scientific terms, in factual terms, in worldly and wordly, the words and the worldly terms. There are things that transcend human understanding, and as it should be, right? As it should be. There is things that we will never be able to explain, as it should be too. Um, these are the moments that connect us with our own immortality of our soul. And so meeting with this immortal, and it's something that I got to remember often, because I get in the entrapment of the world. I get into the entrapment of the doing, of success, of getting into speeches and getting publishing books, this and that, and getting the authority and all that stuff that is so transient, so temporal. Is great to prove unto yourself how powerful your soul is, your mind is, how what you can do with the tokens, with the talents that God has given you as you were born, the opportunity to be alive as an individual, as an identity of an individuality of source consciousness. But this meeting with these energies, with this immortality principle, is such a reminder that there's always more. And so we came out of the Kriya Yoga place fully enamored. Muktananda gave us the first book of Shankarananda Giri, which is all the sutras of Patanjali. We walk in trance. I was in ecstatic bliss. Rumi calls this drunk with the ecstasy of love. We were feeling all totally drunk. We forgot our shoes. We were walking down the hill from the institute down in all the, Rishikesh is a beautiful city. Everyone was chanting. It was a festival. A cow was following us. I mean, it was so mystical and so beautiful. And we kept walking. As the way down from the temple, we went down to the river, and through the river, we were invited. We were pulled into another temple. Someone announced, "Oh my gosh, Sri, I don't remember his name. I think his name was, it's very Satchitananda, just came out of a cave after 60 years. And we got to meet him. I couldn't say anything logical. Our eyes met in absolute delight. And he's like, anything to say? I'm like, I'm from Mexico. That's all I could smartly say. We did around 9 times around a statue of the Gayatri. And then we kept walking down. And it was not until we crossed a bridge in Rishikesh and we came down to the river, to the Ganges, that we put our barefoot feet in the water when we woke up. And I remember the feeling of like, what just happened? And what seemed that it was a meditation of only 5 minutes was 45 minutes. And we didn't even know how we got there, but it was an incredible experience, an experience that still permeates my life. I have forgotten about it. I return to it. It returns me to it. Babaji Nagaraj, the avatar that appeared to Sri Yukteswar Lakshmi Mahasaya Babaji, and some of us, very simple humans from Mexico. This is the medium of the immortals. So keep your eyes open, heart open, because the immortals, in Buddhism, the Amitabha land, Amitofo, the rishis, the avatars, the immortals are cohabitating with us. And it's a metaphor of how, if you do your sadhana and your spiritual practice or your focus practice of mastering yourself or mastering your mind, you never know. You may be eating lunch with an immortal or having tea with an immortal pretty soon. I love you. I hope this podcast serves you in some way. There's a reason why this podcast is being recorded today. And Kriya Babaji Namaom. I'll see you next time. Thank you. Un besito. Adios. We hope you enjoyed this new episode. And if you did, please leave us a review on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or anywhere where you prefer to listen to your podcast. Make sure to check the links to everything we mentioned in this episode. For more news, future or past episodes, or for any other inquiry, please visit our website at delaflorteachings.com. Once again, thank you for listening to the Spirituality Now podcast.